Great. I see you're recording. I think so. If you want, I can take it over and just present quickly the agenda, and we just take it from there. Okay, let's do it. Okay, great. Awesome. So then I would say welcome to everybody. Good to see you all. I see lots of familiar faces by now, including I think Michelle and Helen and Ellen and Jens have been particularly active, and then some other names I also recognize. Welcome, guys. It's good to have you here. I want to briefly present to you our agenda for today. So here we're here on the last of the group sessions, and the next step will be that the next steps are basically selecting those who make it to the next stage, and then taking those through individual sessions. And Rachel will talk more about that. But this is our last group meeting together, and it's a practical session. So yes, if as usual, anytime that you want, raise your hand, ask a question. If you can, because it's more of an interactive session, like we'd appreciate it if you can. If you're willing to turn on the video, then you're welcome to do that. In terms of objective, so there's actually a couple of things. On the one hand, so I have prepared a little quiz for you guys, because I wanted to review all the things that we discussed in the last few weeks, and just see how we're doing. So we're gonna have a fun little quiz at the start. And then we want to jump into the demonstration and the practical part, which is going back into the Shopify app and actually finalizing the store setup. And Jens has kindly volunteered to share the screen later on. So Jens, I will refer back to you a little bit later once we get into it. Also very important, help on assignments. I am aware there are some questions and things that are not clear about the assignments. So this we can cover. And I'm thinking, since we have already had a couple of questions, we could bring this forward, talk 10-15 minutes about the assignments, make sure that everybody is clear and there are no issues before we do the quiz. So Chris, if you don't mind, we can maybe just shift things around like that. I see you nodding, so let's do that. And then Rachel will be talking all about the next phase of the program, because as we finish here, it's going during the month of August. The majority of the effort will be on individual meetings with the selected sellers to move towards getting your online shop live, basically live, or revamped or improved, or just better. And for those that don't have a shop yet, obviously getting you on Shopify. So that's the agenda for today. I want to start with the assignments, and so I think 3 points that I wanted to address here. There are a couple of people that have issues submitting the first assignment, so I would like to address that. I also would like to jump briefly into the second assignment to just make sure you guys understand what you need to do. There's already, I think, 6 people who did it, so thanks to those who already did it. And then I briefly want to touch on the next assignment. So Chris, you mentioned there was a question right at the start regarding assignments.
Yes.
Can you briefly bring me up to date on that, or does the person want to maybe?
Yeah, I think
explain?
it was it Leslie talking? Sorry, maybe you can share that again.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Good morning, Fabian. Yes.
Hey,
What I
Leslie.
noted yesterday when I was going through the assignment on the spreadsheet, when you look
Yes.
at for the item, and then
Right.
you have the, like, let's say the weight. So you may have, looking at an item, let's say the first package being 250 grams, the second one being 500 grams or 1,000 grams. With the formula that is stated there, what it's doing, it's just calculating the number of items and not the weight. So you have the first item being 1, the second one 2, so it's just doubling the price, which could be inaccurate because you would realize that your cost of producing at 250 grams is against a 500. 500 might be a bit cheaper because of your packaging and all of that.
Right.
So it's not going to give you an accurate production cost. So we may have to make some adjustments to that formula there that is stated. I could do it, but I'm not sure if the others who would have done it already saw it that way. But as I was going through everything in detail, that is what I saw. So what you're getting is a linear production cost, which may be inaccurate.
Right.
Cost. All
Okay.
right, so that's one we have to look at. The other one is that I've gone to look at the references in terms of where we could look for our competitors. And there are some challenges in getting the shipping costs. If you go on Amazon, because I've done for Fine Auto competitors, you go on Amazon, yes, you're getting the shipping costs there on Amazon, but not all the other companies. So that may be a bit challenging as well if we're going to use some of those companies that were referenced there. So I'm not sure how we deal with that to have their shipping costs.
Perfect. Thanks for those questions. I'll try to address them, and maybe Rachel can help out as well. Maybe let's start with getting the shipping cost. What I've done previously is I would just go through the purchase flow, like I would pretend to be buying the item. So I just click on the item, I select how many items I want, and then I click on buying it, and it takes me to the shopping cart. And usually down the road, it will indicate the shipping costs to you. So I just want to check, because I agree with you, many times they don't tell you upfront, which is actually not great. It's always better to have it upfront. But yeah, have you tried actually going through the buying flow?
I've attempted that. What you find, I think how it's set up for some of the companies, it's looking at the shipping costs in country. If you're going external, that's where the challenge is, because it becomes very, very costly. For example, if I attempt to buy a product out of Jamaica to ship it to Guyana, because of the cost per shipping, it's not stated. They're not giving you that, right?
So I have a suggestion on how this can be resolved, but I want to actually check in. I know Jens, you were able to pull some information. Just want to check maybe quickly with you. Could you give us some idea on how you went about it? Like, was it an estimate, or did you actually find the shipping cost, or what did you do?
The shipping cost from the competitors?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I did what you said. I just put it in the cart and I checked out. I just put an address in Miami, just a random address I found on it online, and then I checked how much the shipping cost is, and I put it for 1 bar, 2, 3, and 4. It was always the same because the weight is not so much.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's how I did it.
So I guess that's one possibility, but it depends on the shop infrastructure. If possible, you can then just pretend to be in Miami, say, or pretend to be in Germany, or wherever you want. That's often possible. If not, there is some tools might do or might automatically detect you based on your IP address. And there, what you can do is you can use a VPN client to pretend to be in the US, and perhaps I could do a quick instructional video on that a little bit later. What I basically did on my end, I got a really good free VPN client. It's called let's see what it's called. It's this one here. I actually forget the name, but yeah, it's VPN. Okay, so it's possible to kind of type in your browser VPN, Chrome. I use Chrome, and I think that's a good browser, but there are extensions for other browsers too. But what I did, I searched for VPN and then Chrome extension, and what it does, it brings me to the extensions store, and I can then just, you'll see, let's see if it loads, but you can then you can then see kind of the, some information on the tool, and you could add it to Chrome here. For me, the button is removed because it's already added, but you could just click on add to Chrome or any other browser. Like this is available for every browser, I think, out there. And what it does, it then gives you like this extension in the browser, and when you turn it on, you can just tell the system where you want to pretend to be. Like, do you want to be in the USA? Do you want to be in France, and so on? And like some of the USA is usually free, and then there's some paid ones. So that would be one recommendation for you. What was it, Leslie? Yeah, I think it was Leslie, right?
Yeah, it was
would
Leslie.
would that be helpful? Like, do you think like that could help you?
I think it will. I will try it back after the session. I will go back and look at it.
Okay, great. So you can try that. I also want to do a quick demo, like in a minute, to just take people through this flow, so there's no questions. But this is something you could do, or as Jens said, you can just add like an address, pretending you're in another country. So that's how you can get it. If you don't find any information, then actually I like the suggestion that you made, Leslie, about finding sellers on Amazon and checking what the shipping cost is there. And in worst case, what you could do is you could just use information that you have based on either your experience or experiences of others. These are the sort of things we can also discuss in the WhatsApp group when we create it, but we can then find like this information among each other, and you can then like do an estimate of what you think your competitors would charge. But normally you should, like I would say in 80% of the cases, you can get this information. But I agree with you, it's not easy it's not necessarily the easiest to get it. So that's on like shipping cost. Secondly, so thanks for your other question about this about the shipping cost. So you're right. Can you tell me briefly, Leslie, what was your competitor price in your case and your cost of production for one, and then two, maybe?
So for the cost of production, let's say for the refined coconut oil, in my case, when we have looked at all the competitors based upon the references that were given there, as well as all competitors I've looked online, they were all much higher than what we are currently producing at our cost of production. So that certainly is an advantage to us. I just have to go back to my spreadsheet to give you the exact cost.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's not necessary, but I think to your point, like if I say, like, let's say I put a cost of production of $5, and as you say correctly, like it's automatically going to populate the others and assume that we don't have any economies of scale. So like it's a conservative way of calculating things. But just to let you know, like this Excel sheet, once you download it, like it's yours. You do whatever you want with it, and you can just, you don't need to follow the formula in here. These fields that you populate, you can populate, like there are a couple of fields you should not populate, like the gray ones, and then there are like basically all the colored ones. Those are not to be populated, but all the white fields, they are for you to populate. And in this case, if you're saying you have economies of scale here and your cost of production for two is lower, you can just add it in here like that, and it will still work fine. So that's how you can deal with that. You're not going to break the formula when you populate the white fields, basically. And you can do the same thing with your shipping cost, right? Let's say, I don't know, you can do that, and you can say, if I ship two, it's still going to be $20. If I ship three, it's still $20, and if I ship four, it's still $20. So then we're starting to get a picture. And then for competitor price, same thing. Let's say they have 10 and 20. Actually, here you could also populate yourself based on the amount. last thing I want to mention here, like for the pure exercise, like you know, if you want, you can definitely use the multiple product feature, but purely for us to record that you've done your exercise, you're not required to do it. You could just work with one product, and you know, if you wanted, that product could be like a set, or it could be, you know, it could be a set of 5 bars of chocolate or 5 liters of coconut oil or whatever it is, and you are free to change this you know, as needed, so to make it work. So I hope this makes sense. The key point being, like, this Excel sheet, you know, after it's handed over to you, you can do whatever you want with it. Yeah, probably you don't want to change like all these formulas, but the white fields, yeah, you can.
Okay.
Does that
Thank you, Fabian.
answer the question?
Yes, it does. Because I'll give you, in our case, for example, if you're producing oil, let's say a 500-liter bottle of oil, and if you're
Yes.
going to do a 4 liter, so to get a 4 liters, you will have to use 8 500 milliliters of bottle.
Yeah. Okay.
So now,
Yeah,
that's where the cost production reduces, because instead of me using now 8 bottles, 8 caps, 8 labels, I'm just using 1 bottle
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do the 4 liters. So it's 1 bottle, 1 cap, 1 label. So that's how my cost of production reduces.
Yeah.
Right.
It makes a
So,
lot
so
of
that
sense.
is why I alluded to that based upon the quantities you're producing, your cost may reduce as well. So and that's
Correct.
why I picked up the challenge there with the formula. So I'll
Okay,
make it.
nice.
Thanks for that.
Okay, great. Thanks for the question. Good. Are there any? There's one more question from Ellen about cost of production. In case, so is it? So we have the question about like local retail price or cost of production. Again, I think there's a little bit of flexibility here. What we said, you know, all along the webinars, we wanted to keep it consistent, and we said, okay, let's just put the local retail price in there, because usually the local retail price is much lower than like the international US dollar price. And the reason we said that is because in your local retail price, you already have a margin built in. And so then, yeah, it's just a more conservative way to calculate things. So this is what I suggest we use. But again, like, we're just giving you the Excel sheet, and like, it's up to you how you feel comfortable to do it. And if you want to add the cost of production here, that's fine with me. It's not a problem. In any case, all the pricing discussions, it's like a thing we need to, you know, clarify in the individual sessions, case by case anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, there is a question in the chat from Ellen, and I think this was, yeah. It's about the cost of production, if in this case is a local retail price.
Yeah. So that's what I just answered. It's the same. It's that question basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is again like local retail. Let's go with local retail price by default. Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Then
yeah, just something.
Yes. Oh yeah, Rachel. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just something to add. With the local cost of production. So from the time you have to ship it abroad, there may be additional costs like specific boxes or packaging that you have to make sure you have. So that's where your cost differentiation may come in. Although you're locally producing it, there may be additional costs from the moment you have to ship it internationally, aside from just the shipping fee, right? So just factoring in that, but it's something that you have to play around with over time and kind of figure out, constantly monitor, so that you always price your products accurately, almost daily, you know? So just the last bit there. Yeah,
thanks, Rachel. And just you know, there is a little star that I made here, and if you look at the small print, I'm basically saying your cost of production should include, like, so, you know, all salaries should be kind of included, the cost of the raw materials and the cost of packaging. So like everything's in there without your profit. yeah, in this case, it would be without the profit margin. But if you have a retail, if you add the retail price, then like usually all these costs are deemed to be included. That's yeah. So yeah, let's just say retail price because we can. It's the simplest, and we can assume that everything's in there, including packaging. But yeah, you're right, Rachel. Like the international packaging might come on top. Yeah. Okay. Then I would say let's briefly go back to the slides. I just want to make sure I don't go over time too much with this part. So there is assignment 2. I just want to check with the group. Are there, besides what we discussed now, are there any questions or doubts, or do you guys feel like you should be fine with the second assignment based on what we discussed? Okay. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. And yeah, we already have 6 assignments, so please keep sending them in, and you have time till the 24th, so till next Monday. So there's plenty of time, and we look forward to receiving your assignments. And then briefly, there are 2 people on assignment 1 that have had issues submitting the assignment. So I think it's Dominique and Leora. I don't know if they are on the call with us today. If you guys are there, you can feel free and show yourself. I don't see Dominique though, and Leora, I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. Given they are not here, I don't think it's worth going over that. So maybe. Oh, you're there.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, Dominique. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Hi.
Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that you are able to submit the assignment. Would you be willing? I don't know. Are you on a laptop or a mobile phone?
I'm on mobile phone right now.
Okay. So yeah, we can't really share the screen then. But maybe if you want, like I can share my screen on my end, and I can just show you what needs to be done, and hopefully that clarifies things for you. Can we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'll go into the first assignment. And so basically, can I just ask you, so you have answered like all these questions, correct? Have you answered
all the questions on the Excel questionnaire? Yes.
Okay, sure. So I'll just, in 1 minute, I'm just gonna fill it in 1 minute. So put my email address, then I'll put my country, then yeah, I'll add like a link. Let's see, actually. Okay, then I'll just do this. I'll say yes. I'll add just a file just so we can have it done. 1 second, please. So we'll just upload the pricing sheet real quick.
I can log into a laptop now. So let me see.
So if you're on a laptop now, then we can do it with yours, yeah.
Yeah, let me. It's my son's laptop, and I have a second step verification, which is on my phone. So let me just.
Okay, I have a suggestion. Why don't we do this? We can have a quick check-in like a little later after we do the quiz, and at this point I ask you to share your screen. Would that work for you?
Yes, if it's a little later, by that time I should have been able to log into my son's laptop.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, let's do it this way then. Perfect. So then I would say we can move to the quiz, to the short quiz. I think we're right about on time. Yeah, cool. I prepared a little quiz for you guys. Are you ready?
Yes.
So what I'll do is I'll go here to my Slido, and you'll see like a little QR code pop up. And I'll ask you guys to take out your mobile phones. And this is a little competition. And there are 6 or 7 questions that refer back to what we've discussed, to just test a little bit about whether you've paid attention, pretty much. So you guys can all go ahead and please click
Yeah,
on
if you can't scan the QR code for any reason, you can also go to slido.com and type that number.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
Yeah, just in case, because sometimes not possible.
Sometimes it doesn't work. Yeah, I'm actually doing it at the same time. So
I'm inside. There's only like Q&A. I don't see any quiz.
okay, I think I need to activate this quiz. That's the reason. So I'll activate the quiz now. So I think now you should be able to join the quiz. You should be able to type your name. Can
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Okay, so you all can go ahead and type your name. Okay, great. So we have 5, 6 people. Okay, just type your name, please. And it's actually only used this 2 times or so. All right. So we have Ellen, Sophia, Michelle, Nadine, Jens, Leslie, Rachel, Helen. Okay.
Can we put the number for the Slido in the chat, please?
The number for Slido in the chat? Yes. Yes, I can, of course. Yes. That's the number of the Slido right there in the chat. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we have 10 people on there. I'll just wait for a bit more. I think we are a little more on the call. There's 20 people on the call. I'll just give you guys a little bit of time to join. Nadine is there now as well. So while I wait for more people to join, I just want to give you the reason why I want to do this and just kind of set the stage a little bit. So essentially, as a quick recap, right? We've just spent like a couple of weeks together and we've gone through a bunch of content. And I just want to kind of summarize quickly like what we've gone through. And that's also going to be, those questions now will surface in the quiz. But like, so at end of June, we talked about how to stand out online. Then on the 4th of July, we talked about the competitors and the pricing. Then on July 5th, we did this exercise about creating the storefront. July 11th, we talked about shipping products internationally. And then yesterday, we talked about how to drive traffic to a Shopify store. And I realized these are a lot of topics. And I just want to say that, it's good that you've taken them in. And for those of you who are more advanced, I hope it's been a good recap. And all these things down the road, when we work on your online stores, they all will be, we can't get around these. Like we need to nail these topics if we want to make sales. If we want to make sales with our online stores. And so that's a bit of a context. Now, going back to the Slido, and we have 12 people. So let's get started with 12 people. Those of you who haven't made it, you can still, I believe, join anytime by using the number or the QR code. All right, I'll start the quiz now. I think I can do this. Oops. All right, so this is question 1. How do e-commerce sellers typically advertise their online shop? So it's a multiple choice, but you can choose multiple answers. So so we have AdWords on Google, we have display ads on popular websites, and we have display ads on social media as a few options. So you can just click whichever you think is correct, and then you can send your answer. So we have, I think, 8 answers by now. Can we see the leaderboard actually? All right. So for now, Rachel is number 1 on the leaderboard. Okay. Let's see if I can go back to the quiz. Okay, there's two more people who we need answers from. We'll just give it a little more time. So on your mobile phone, just answer the question and click on send, and then we will register your answers. All right. Moving on. Yes, we have 12. Thank you. Moving on to the next question. Oh, okay. So yeah. So what's the answer here? And like Rachel, feel free to like comment and add your thoughts. But like based on what we discussed yesterday, right? Actually, all of them are used. But yeah, Rachel, please.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should be answering the questions. Maybe I shouldn't.
No, you can. It's okay. We're not gonna count you basically. If you turn out number 1, like it's just not gonna count. That's so number whoever comes after you will be number 1. Cool. Yeah, Rachel, would you agree? Like, I mean, these are the key things that came out, right, in terms of paid advertising, right?
Yeah, I think the AdWords on Google is definitely the highest used, like typical way to advertise. I actually think social media is a little higher than the display ads, just because display ads was one of the first type of integration and advertising digitally like that. So the earlier with types, I should say. So I do think this is accurate. I would have just bumped up social media second, but but yes, you can use all these activities to advertise your online store.
Yeah, maybe I want to clarify like the interpretation of these numbers. Actually, it's depending on the answers that we got from the participants. So 83% of participants clicked on Google AdWords, and then 75% on display ads on websites, and then 67% on social media. Yeah. And those who clicked on all 3 basically got it correctly. And those would be Rachel, Michelle, myself, Sophia, Kamisha are on the leaderboard. Currently, there's more. So we'll get back to the leaderboard afterwards. All right, next one. How do I move to the next one? I think here. Yeah. Cool. Right, we had this session with Mohammed, right? And we talked about what we should expect to get in terms of how many people convert when you do display advertising. So the question is, your display ad is seen by 1,000 people. How many of those can you expect to come and visit your online shop? Is it 1? Is it 5 out of 1,000? Is it 50 or 100 out of 1,000? Please answer now using your mobile phone. So we have 10 answers. Just waiting for a couple more. 11. Just waiting for a couple more, yeah. And then we have 1 more pending. Okay, we have all the answers. Let's go and see. Okay. So, yeah. Rachel, do you remember what it was?
I'm trying to remember his particular statistics, but I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a trick question, but yeah.
20%, right? Or 25, like 20%. I don't know.
So actually, what we talked about was what Mohammed was talking about was he basically said like brace yourselves for 0.5%, right. And so 0.5% would mean for 1,000 people, you would have 5 people come to your website. He also mentioned if you have a very effective ad campaign, it can be more, right? It could be more, but basically, in this context, the right answer is 5 because that's sort of the lower end of what we should expect and what we should brace ourselves for. And if I click on the next one, you'll see 5 is correct. So 23% of you guys had it right, and yeah, some of you are expecting too much, and a few are expecting too little. Anyways, so this is what we need to expect. And then just to recap, Mohammed also mentioned, like, in his experience in e-commerce generally, when you have 100 people visiting your store, you can expect to have one sale, right? So that's kind of the 1% of people who come to your store convert. And again, if those are relatively low numbers, it can be better. Like, it can be better, but this is what we should brace ourselves for. And it just means, like, we need to get a lot of traffic in order to sell, pretty much. That's the message. And what it means is basically there will be no sales unless we invest in marketing. And that's what we're here to help you with. Yeah. Rachel, should I go to the next one?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Let's see who remembers this one. So we talked when we talked about, like, competition, pricing, we also talked about the market opportunity. So the question is, like, which country is the biggest importer for cocoa products? So that would be cocoa products, including chocolate bars, but also the other products we talked about, like cocoa bean, cocoa powder, cocoa what was it? The cocoa mass. So all cocoa products.
Yeah.
And then also coconut oil. So which one is it? Is it Germany? Is it the United States? Or is it China? Please answer now. So we've got 10 answers, 11. Oh, we have 15 participants now. That's good. More people engaging. Okay, 13. Waiting for 2 more answers. I think we'll have I think this will be a good one this will bring points to you guys, I believe. Not a hard one. And just waiting for one more. Just waiting for one more. Okay. Okay, I think so we have 14 answers. Let's see what we have. So 70% of you guys say United States, 20 say Germany, and 7 say China. You hit it in the middle of the bullseye. It's the United States, indeed. Actually, for those of you who clicked on Germany, like, in terms of chocolate bars, like, Germany was really big when it comes to chocolate bars, but the United States is still bigger. So overall, it's the United States. Nice. Quick look at the leaderboard. Okay, like, forget about Fabian and Rachel in this list. So Michelle is leading, and Leslie and Kamisha are next. All right, next question. So what benefits can you expect to receive if you are selected for the next phase of our program? Please answer now. All right. 9 answers. 10 answers. 11. Let's give it a bit more time. So your options are Shopify subscription for 1 year, guaranteed sales, financial support to ship your products into a warehouse, United States or Europe, or individual support launching your online store. Those are the options. We have 13 answers. I'll just give it a few more seconds. Okay, let's move on. Right. Yes, I like what I see. So it's correct. We cannot guarantee sales for you. So that's outside of our control. But what we can do is we can set you up as good as we can to either increase your sales or have or kind of get the first sales. So and that means we can pay for your store, we can give you financial support for logistics, and you definitely get individual support if you are selected. So those were the right answers. Moving to the next one. All right. So we had a great speaker joining us from DHL, and I think, my key takeaway is like they are here to help us when we need it. So as we get to the stage where we need to start shipping things, I think they can be a good option for two things. One, if we ship B2C but expedited, some consumers are willing to pay for that, so then DHL is a good option. And also, if we're looking to ship kind of medium quantities, I would say, to a warehouse for the purpose of testing out forward deployment or the warehouse. So we will be able to use them. They presented really nice slides and a lot of good insights. And one of the questions was, or one of the slides was about cross-border e-commerce and specifically related to business to consumer. And the question was, how big is the market getting until 2026? So we have 6 answers already. You guys can go ahead. What do you think? What is the cross-border market in e-commerce looking like? Is it $48 million, $480 million, or $4.8 billion? And while we wait for some answers, I always like to, these numbers are so abstract, so I like to put them in context. And I think let's find the GDP of medium country like Colombia, for example. Colombia. So that's not a good one. Let's use a Central American country like maybe GDP of Honduras. Okay. Yeah, so if you would compare to a country like Honduras, it would be about 6 times smaller than that. So we could say the 4.8 billion it's a lot of money. It's like a very small country essentially. Actually, let's take an island. Let's take what should we take? Trinidad and Tobago maybe. GDP. Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, so if we take Trinidad and Tobago, the GDP, which is the value of goods and service produced by the economy, in Trinidad and Tobago was 25 billion in 2021, and if we're looking at this number of 4 or 5 billion roughly, so it's like 5 times smaller than Trinidad and Tobago, but yeah, it comes close. And you guessed it right. That's also the number for commerce. Yeah. All right. Any comments, questions? But you guys got it right. Yeah. I also, as a comparison, this is the military budget of Switzerland is the same amount, pretty much. So moving on to the second last question. So according to our logistics case study that we did I think it was the 3rd workshop. So what was the benefit of placing products in a warehouse in the US? So if you remember, I was talking about this small pilot that I did with a seller from Uzbekistan, and he placed these kimono type robes into the warehouse. And so what was the result of that, or what was the benefit? So your choice is 5 times faster shipping costs halved, profit margin maintained, and profit margin more than doubled. So please go ahead and answer now. So 9 answers. And I can see we have more and more people joining the poll. It's 16 people by now. I'll wait for a couple more answers. 11. We've got 11 now, 12, 13, 14. I'll just give it a few more seconds. Okay, all right. So you guys are saying, yes, you guys got it right. Most of you got it right. So indeed, so we cut the shipping time from 2 weeks to about 3 days. The shipping cost was halved. And the reason the shipping cost was halved is because essentially before that, the shipping like one piece by one cross border was about $40. And when we shipped it into the warehouse, like we could cut that shipping cost overall to $20. And the main reason we could cut the shipping cost was because shipping out of the warehouse is much more affordable. It was about $10. And then also getting the product into the warehouse was also much more affordable because we grouped the shipments. And just to clarify again, like this was a very small pilot with only like about 30 products. And even if it was such a small pilot, we still were able to save a lot of cost. So the point for me that you should know is, for me, it makes a lot of sense if you have some demand signals and if you have some indication that your product is in demand, it makes sense to forward deploy it because your chances of selling, they just go up a lot. And you don't have to ship a container to start out. I mean, great if you can ship a container or half a container or whatnot, but it's not needed. And I think we are realistic enough in this project that we know that for most companies in this project, we kind of are earlier on in the journey, and we're not talking about containers yet. Okay, and then profit margin, yes, more than double. That's also correct. So last question, and this one's going to be a tricky one. So as you know, wherever you sell online, there are fees that you have to take into account, and irrelevant of what platform you use, or if you want to sell on marketplaces, etc. There's always going to be fees and commissions. And so the question is, according to our pricing sheet, what is Shopify's overall commission? So what I mean by that is, when you sell on Shopify, you will have to accept credit card payments. So there's a fee for that. Shopify is taking a commission from you, and there is a currency conversion fee. So these are the commissions I'm referring to. I'm not talking about the subscription fee, which is being covered by us for those who get selected. So what is the commission? Is it 3%, 7%, or 10% that you need to factor in when you sell on Shopify? Please answer now. So we already have 9, we have 10, 11, 12. Just waiting a little bit. Twelve answers. Those who haven't answered yet, I'll give you a few more seconds, and you can go ahead. It's a tough one. All right, let's go and see the results. Okay. So the right answer was 7%. And let me tell you why. The reason is we have a Shopify commission, which is 2%. And that Shopify commission, whenever you use a payment system that's not Shopify payments, then Shopify charges you that commission. And in the Caribbean, we cannot use Shopify payments, so there will be a 2% commission. Then Shopify charges a currency conversion fee, and because we are selling to international customers, there will be a currency conversion happening. So there's 2% for that. And then there is a fee for credit card payments, which is 2.95%. Rounded up, it's 3%. And if we count everything together, we're looking at 7. We're looking at 7%. So going back, cool. So that completes the question. So do you guys want to have a look at the leaderboard? All right. Yeah. So sorry about that. We shouldn't have, Rachel and I should not have participated. But so the top three, are Ellen. Ellen takes it home with 5 questions answered correctly and an answering time of 3 minutes and 46. Then Leslie, you're coming in second with 5 correct answers and an answering time of 6 minutes and 38. And then Jens, you're coming in third with 4 correct questions and an answering time of 4 minutes and 43 seconds. Cool. Thanks for participating, guys. Really, really nice. I'm wondering because I did so much talking now. So the next things on the agenda, right, is we want to do a quick demonstration with the help of Jens to show you how to set up, how to configure shipping on Shopify and how to add your store policies. But there's also a whole part that Rachel has around next steps for those who get selected. And actually, I want to check Rachel to give me a small break. Would you mind pulling your session forward?
Yeah, sure. I can run through it. Just give me 30 seconds. 1 sec.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So while Rachel is preparing, yes, we will have probably about 20 minutes or so for Rachel's speaking points about the next steps and for the program, and then we'll try to keep about 30 minutes, maybe 35 for the demonstration, and hopefully we can end on time.
Fabian, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And the last question, I selected 10% because I thought you said also the currency conversion fee. And
yes, actually, you know what? You might have. So the problem we have, so on some of the tabs, for some reason, the currency conversion fee, it's showing 2 times on the sheet.
Oh, yes.
But on this one, but yeah, so it's actually so we discovered another glitch. So actually, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna correct this. Currency conversion fee is only supposed to be in there once, and then then it would be 7%. Otherwise, it would be 9%, which is closer to 10. So if that's true, Jens, then
I calculated the total Shopify fees. How do you say, between the total cost, and then I had 0.10. Can I share? Can I share my screen?
Please.
Sorry.
I think including the subscription fee, you are right. It will be closer to 10, but I mean it depends on the sales volume. But yeah, please show us.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Or my so if I do like I did like this between this. So and then it's like 10%. So that's why. But I didn't see that we have the conversion rate double.
Yeah.
So,
Can you remove that?
But then it's still 8.5.
That's
right.
Yes. So and the reason is probably because of the fixed amount. it's probably because of the fixed
then we have
amount in
7.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is like the fixed
Then we have
amount
7. If we take it away.
the fixed amount is a big portion because the price is relatively low, right? In a bigger product, it wouldn't weigh that much. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, yes, this is sort of a trick question in the sense that, you know, that's not all the cost. Like the 7% is just like the commission part, but then we have to take into account, yes, each time you sell, there's this 30 cents fixed fee. That doesn't really weigh much in the overall calculation. But then the Shopify subscription, which is like $30 per month, that can actually weigh quite significantly if you don't have a lot of sales, right? So it could easily bring up your total, you know, cost for Shopify. So that's important to take into account. And then the other thing that we did not talk about is like the whole advertising piece. And in the cost calculation, we're actually also adding 15% for ads. So if we take everything together, you know, we're probably looking at like 25% of your cost. Like you should factor in kind of 25% of your sales price to be invested for like advertising and fees and all that. So that's your cost of selling pretty much. Yeah. All right, Rachel, do you want to take over? Hey, Rachel. Did we lose Rachel?
Are you all
No.
hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry. So I'm just gonna share quickly. The next steps. 1 sec. Right. Are y'all seeing my screen?
Yes.
Right. So, right. So, I mean, given everything we've sort of gone through and our understanding of what is going to take to really roll out a cohesive digital plan for your online store, I think it's embarking on a journey where you get an opportunity to do the right thing moving along and prepare consistently. And let's see what the impact or what the turnaround can be, because there's lots of people making and generating revenue with their e-commerce store. So, you know, you may take it as it's just not working for me, but sometimes it's how are you doing the right thing and are you doing everything that's needed to really make your online store successful. So I would have shared with you all some of the strategies we did, how we were able to maintain those things. So the next phase with those who will be selected would be sort of, this is more of a bird's eye view of how I imagine things rolling out. So the foundational stuff, this is for me, looks like about a year plan. Of course, we're going to condense it within the timelines of this project. But if we get the fundamentals in, you guys can build out a plan that makes the most sense for you to ensure you're maximizing on your e-commerce store. So the foundation, yeah.
Real quick, our participants are asking if you could make the presentation a little bit bigger. I think Ellen was asking. Is that
okay.
possible?
Yeah, sure, I can. I'm also going to customize this for each person, so it's not the final document. So just to be, yeah, so I just zoomed in a bit, but I'm just gonna walk through with you how I see it working. Are you all seeing it a little better?
I think it's better.
Yeah, I just zoomed
Bigger,
in.
yeah, thanks.
Okay, great. So we're in the foundation. Phase 1 would be the foundational stuff. And, you know, just looking at the activities and then the outcomes that come with it. So if you look at the foundations phase, it would be us sort of going through the first part of the training, which is understanding your brand, knowing your differentiation, right? So establishing what your brand pillars are, because that's what's going to guide you along promoting and maximizing your e-commerce store. Then there's the web store audit, where we would, look at all the main foundational stuff that I discussed that would make sure you have a trusted platform for your customers. And that's around content, security, logistics, all these things, right? And then a seasonal calendar of what you think your year looks like in sales. So like, what are peak periods? What are seasons, new seasons, which means new flavors of chocolates or coconut oil? What does that mean? So having your own seasonal calendar, as in when are your peak periods, so that we can make sure we're optimizing your platform to meet those demands, right? And then lastly, in the foundation phase would be a launch plan, and just sort of, how do you want your relaunch or launch of your store to really look and feel like? Because launching is a big part of your success rates. How you take off is very important. So the outcomes from phase one would be to gain, the overall outcome is that you're going to gain consumer trust, which is what we're trying to build here. A core group of customers who are, they love the service, they love the product, they keep buying it. We want to gain that customer trust so that we can now find more customers like them, right? So consumer appreciation, customer loyalty, what are the ways in which we're gonna, with all this data, initial data, and you may not have a lot of data at first, but you may have 10 customers who buy every 2 weeks, and that's still data to use. But the outcome here, this foundational phase, would be to really gain that consumer trust, because if you don't have the trust going into the next phase, it's gonna be very cumbersome and difficult, right? If the consumer doesn't trust what you're doing or selling. So then the second phase would be content development. So now that we understand your brand, now that you understand when are your peaks, who is your customer, how you want to launch this thing out, we need to work on the content development, right? So the first part of content development is you can speak all day about your business and how amazing it is, but we have to highlight the content that is going to reinforce those brand pillars and the trust that you have, right? So the first thing is to understand what are your resources? How much can you resource here? What are the resources that you're going to get from this program if you're successful? And just kind of combining to see, how much can you really spend to support, to grow the marketability of your online platform, right? And then around that second phase, you have the content creation plan. So yes, you know how much you can spend. Now you need to figure out what content am I gonna invest in most. And of course, there's some that you cannot compromise on: your product description, all that information about your site, your FAQ page, all these other things. You really need a good, strong content creation plan, right? What are you going to focus on with the resources that you have? And then building out a content schedule, which will kind of support you in just automating things, getting more efficient, that your content, you don't have to think about what to post for Mother's Day because you know what works, right? You already planned it out and you have the content to support that particular sales target. And then there's the content engagement data. So of course, after you put out all this content, we may have a great idea about how it will work, but the data at the end of how, when you present the content or people engage with the content, that is what's going to matter next for the next phase of your website development, right? So the outcome here is really that you get creativity. You can naturally gain market value. There's a lot that can come out during this phase. And I think I put creativity because it's it's really a time when you get to explore deeper. What is your actual differentiation? You all are all business owners, or, you know, in entrepreneurship directly. So you understand that you really need to tap into your creativity and your knowledge base of your industry and your sector, so that you know, you get the best outcome. So you can't stifle this phase. Well, you shouldn't, right? Are you also hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Right. So that's phase 2. Phase 3 now is, and this seems a lot, guys, but there are very specific action points that go under each part that you can knock out in, you know, a week or 2 each, sort of thing, right? So again, it's a broad view of how I see, and, you know, someone did ask me what was my strategy plan for, you know, and I just did it. So this was a great way for me to actually document what, you know, how my plan works, and taking what's in my brain and putting it here. So you can kind of see the way in which you can grow and build your e-commerce store, because you have to believe that this is a viable sales channel for you, for your brand. It's a huge investment towards your credibility. So it's worth the time and attention that it's going to take, right? So the third phase is optimizing, and under that is where we will have your SEO plan. I know I would have just touched on with you guys what SEO is, but just basically optimizing your online store, continuing to do the things that help build it, help grow the sales bit by bit, your portfolio management. So, you know, what next are you going to produce? And I think that creativity phase is what leans into this. What are the next products you're going to launch? You're not going to have the same 5 chocolate bars on your website from now till next 20 years, right? You're going to constantly be launching new products, new portfolios. And it's important to think about that portfolio management at that phase, right? And then, of course, scalable goals, things that you think are worth investing in. So you're going to get the data, and the data is going to show you a number of paths, right? But you have to choose the right path that's going to get you to the better outcomes, I should say. So what are some scalable goals that you can now set after you're confident you have the foundation of a good platform, you have the content development there ready, you know what type of content is going to come out, you're going to build your creativity to have new ideas. Now you're on the optimizing, you're making it work, you're using the things that work, and that the outcome here in this phase is that you really get a lot of efficiencies in your market, right? A lot of efficiencies in your process. So you gain market relevancy because you're now trusted to deliver on those things that you say you did. Even if it's 10 people saying each delivery, each person gave you a 5-star rating because they each received their chocolate bar at the most affordable shipping fee, they got it fast, the website had all the information, they had the after sale support, and on top of that, the chocolate bar was amazing, or the coconut oil was amazing. So the final, you may have the best product, but if you don't present it or get it to the consumer in the right channels or in the right in the ways that work best, that are most efficient for both you and the customer, you know, that's the overall goal, to build those, to optimize your online store so that you can build those efficiencies. All right. And the final phase is final management plan, right? So you have data, you have the foundation, you've optimized, you know what works, you're testing things. Now, mistakes may happen during that phase because you're figuring out what works and what doesn't work, right? And managing those costs, of course, your budget is always, you know, what are the resources you're going to assign here? And monitoring the outcomes, right? So with your management plan, you're going to get going into a deeper market research. You're going to see, okay, who else is like my customer? You know, I've tapped into this gourmet person who just giving a gift once a month or ever so often. I want to go into the person who's addicted to dark chocolate, the person who needs this, the person who, you know, or the channels that this can really thrive in. And you always have to be looking for deeper ways to get to that. So I think deeper market research, you get to know more and more about your customer, about your markets, and you use those strategies. You update your SEO plan, you update your portfolios, you know, you're using that data to now take bigger leaps and bigger steps to finding new markets and making sure your online store outperforms itself each year, right? Finding experts in your management plan. How does this go beyond you? If you are not there that day, will the data be used? Will the SEO plan be updated? You want to make sure that you have people who are experts who can support you, who can work for you, work with you, who can be a consultant. However you find them, you need, or use your experts, you need to get those expertise because you cannot figure everything out yourself. And then, of course, within that management plan is your check-ins, right? How are you checking in? How are you monitoring? You don't want to put in all this work and you have this well-oiled machine and you're not managing, you know, you're not fixing the little parts and the little bits and updating as you go along, right? So you need to check in and monitor, right? And the final outcome out of all of this, guys, is profitability. That you're going to have a profitable, viable business. It's why you're here. You want to grow your profits. You want to grow your sales. And the outcome, the end big goal is that you're going to have a efficient, creative, trusted, and profitable business, right? So that's the point of why you're building an e-commerce store. It's not this just this external thing. It is a big part of your growth strategy. And it's important to do, even if you're not, your business doesn't necessarily deal with e-commerce, but having a digital presence and enforcing that and getting your customer closer to you is the goal, right? It's always going to be the goal. So this is how I envision the next phase and the type of support that I'll be able to share with some of the companies. And, you know, I'm not going to have all the answers right away, and you're not going to have all the answers. Sometimes we have to try something and it fails so that we know it doesn't work, or we try something and it works and we do it more, right? So it is a learning process. It's getting to know your business. It's getting to know your path to success, as well as me discovering things about your particular business and pulling out those things that can maybe differentiate you a lot further. So again, you know, I know you all will probably have questions specifically, but this is a broader view because we haven't moved into the selection phase yet. So this is more about, okay, this is what you hope to accomplish. And anyone who participated, you're free to, I will share this strategy. I'll clean it up a bit and I'll share it with you guys so you can still map this out for yourself internally. All right. So that's my part, Fabian.
I actually have a question. I mean, we can check if there's more question as well, but yeah, can you maybe also explain, so for those who get selected, just a little bit the timelines we discussed before, like for those who get selected, you know, what is the next steps? How can they reach out?
Oh, well, I think we still have to fine tune that, but it will be that you guys will be booking a one-on-one session with me once you're selected, so that I can sort of build out this exact plan for you, and you have to work to populate and gather the information because it's your business that you need to know. So start thinking deeper about your business. What do you offer? What is your differentiation? You know, all the tools that I would have shared, and us figuring out how to apply it. But you will get that one-on-one session, hopefully the first week in August. And then the next week, I'll kind of give you some things to start building out, and we'll monitor and keep in contact via maybe a WhatsApp group, possibly. And then the next phase would be, building this platform and using the data to really, launch something unique and special into the marketplace. So
actually, also a question to Chris, like the broader timelines. Can we maybe also explain again the broader timelines? Because now we're speaking about August, but of course this project is a bit longer term, right? Because it takes time to do this. Could you kind of give us the overall
of course,
broad timelines?
So as you know, now we've done all the training, the virtual training in group. And at the end of this month, probably on the 31st, we'll let you know who's selected for the next phase. That means that you will be participating in individual sessions with Rachel, which is what she just explained. There will be several sessions. The first one will be more about getting to know each other. She will audit. She will get the necessary information to audit your site and your current online presence. And then in the next sessions, you will be working in more depth on the specific items. That will be during August, but there will be additional coaching until the end of the year. So as you know, we are selecting 15 companies in total, and the goal is to have your Shopify store ready by the end of the year for the 15 selected businesses. We will anyways work in batches. So we'll start giving preference to 5 companies, then 2 other 5, and then 2 other 5. That doesn't mean that you will not be working from now. Everyone will be working from the beginning, but our support will focus first in 5 companies and then 5 and another 5 until the end of the year. So that's it. This is what I wanted to highlight from what Rachel mentioned, is that this is all about testing. E-commerce is about trying different platforms. And maybe the one you think is going to work doesn't work the way you think. So you have to try a different site or try different strategies and learn from that. Anyways, the work that you do for one platform is always useful for the other platforms. And not only the technical work, also the methodology that you put in place. And I think the plan that Rachel showed you will give you a very good overview of what you can do in any online channel that you work in. So that's how the big picture looks like. Also, the project is covering the fees for 1 year on Shopify, which is really, really good for companies because it saves a bit of money from you for the first year, and that gives us enough time to activate sales and really ensure that your site is working. But yeah, the work with us will be until December. And of course, we can always follow up later and see if there's any additional support needed. Yeah. But just Fabian, before you continue, we will anyway send everything by email again, so that everything is clear. You have the links to the assignment. You send everything on time. And then you're clear about the dates of the coaching so that you can also organize yourself. That's it.
It's really clear to me. Are there any questions from anyone on the broader plan? Okay, I'm just making a note here because regarding those timings of the different cohorts, 5, 5, and 5, we can also check depending on preference of and make that
yes,
yeah, that will inform our decision as well on how we time things. Timings of kind of batches. Okay, perfect. Great. So I think then this leaves us with like 35 minutes to go back to kind of the practical part. To be honest with you, like the things that we do now, right? We're going back to the practical part. I'll ask Jens in a few minutes to engage again, but just the idea that we're doing this in the practical session, that I'm engaging you guys to use the platform, is just there's 2 points. Like one, I just want you all to see how easy and convenient it is to use the platform. So in this case, Shopify. And just so you know, like you can be in control, like you're the business owner. And yes, in the future, you might want to outsource tasks and have people or consultants or whoever that you pay to do this work. But I think it's good at the beginning, or it's good anyways, to be on top of your e-commerce business. And that's why we selected Shopify in this program, because it allows you as a business owner to do, you know, to be self-sufficient. So you don't need a developer, you can do everything yourself. And so, you know, we've shown you how to easily kind of create a storefront, how to easily upload products. And now we're gonna show you how to easily add like your store policies and also configure your shipping. I hope we have enough time for it. But yeah, the idea is just that you see that, hey, there's nothing to be kind of afraid of. Like this is relatively convenient and intuitive to use. But before we do that, before we go into that with Jens, actually, Leslie was still wanting an answer on submitting the assignment. So I think it was it Leslie, or I forgot actually who it was, but we had a participant at the very beginning that had an issue with the first assignment.
Yeah, I think it was Leslie. Yeah, I think.
Okay, is Leslie still with us? Leslie, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, have you been able to connect to a laptop?
Yes, I'm using my laptop currently.
Would you mind to briefly share your screen, and then we just check that you can submit the assignment?
That's the second assignment?
Go to the first one, because the first one is the one that that wasn't received, and it's the same. It's the same process for either one. Yeah.
No, I submitted the first assignment, and based upon when the list that you showed for received, I saw my name there, my email.
Let's have a quick look. So, for what I mentioned at the very beginning, the first assignment, there are two people that haven't submitted it yet. It was Dominique. I think she's not here today with us, and then there was another one on the email address of GGNASSIN.
I'm here. I have been here from the beginning. Yes.
Oh, so
that's
Dominique.
Dominique. That's Dominique.
Okay.
Yes.
So maybe Leslie, if you have actually successfully, submitted your first assignment, then probably it's better if we do this with Dominique, if it's okay for you.
Sure. Yeah,
okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean that is if Dominique is available to do it. Dominique, can I ask you, are you on a laptop right now?
Yes, I'm just shutting down my mobile phone because it's creating an echo.
Oh, okay. And would you be willing to share the screen on the laptop so I can help you submit the first assignment?
Yes.
Okay, we can try that then. You can see if you can share your screen. Yeah, I think it's working. And then do you have the link to the first assignment, or do you need it?
I have it in my email.
Okay, I can actually send it to you right now via the chat. I'll just share the link with you via the chat. 1 second. So, and then we'll see like exactly what's happening, and it's just beneficial for everybody to see, just in case for the second assignment we have the same issue. So if you don't mind clicking on the link that I shared in the chat, that will bring you to your assignment, and then we can see why it did actually not submit. So we'll give it a bit of time to load. Oh, so you guys speak French?
Huh?
So you guys, I see you have a French Google. So that's cool.
No, we don't speak French. I'm actually not in Dominica right now, so
Okay.
It's taking the VPN, I guess, of the country I'm in.
I see.
Okay. The form is not opened. It's not
opening. Yeah, I guess you have to log into one. Which account did you use when you did?
I used my my Will Dominic account.
So it's not here. You don't have the account here, right?
Yeah, I opened it. I opened it right here. Look, I have it here. It's here.
Okay.
My Gmail. I'm using my son's laptop, so that is my Gmail here.
Yeah.
And
yeah. So this was the email.
Share your product catalog here.
Yeah.
So that is
let's try
what
that.
I got from you.
So you can try clicking here again on fill out the form. Likely it will ask you again to like choose the Gmail account. Oh no, it's working. Okay.
Right.
That's working. So can you scroll down and let's just see if so it looks like you filled in, we see your name. Keep going.
Yes.
The country. Okay, so we need you to complete this. Can you scroll further down a little bit? So this you completed, and then have you uploaded some files? Can we see if you were able to upload?
So let me, did you encounter upload? So add file here.
Right, yeah.
Browse.
So you want to click on browse.
Right.
Okay.
And I recently downloaded it. Downloads is here.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Open.
Let's see if everything works. It should. Server rejected.
Server rejected, yes.
I see. Okay. Oh, so that's the reason that you weren't able to complete the assignment, I guess.
From my phone, it is telling me my Google Drive is filled. So I went and deleted stuff because of my location, I'm unable to buy more space on Google. It doesn't provide the option of Dominica, so I can buy more space. So I went ahead and deleted so many files, and I was still unable to. Yeah, so that's what it told me on my phone, that my drive is filled. But no, I'm first time seeing that message.
Okay, what I would say, first of all, on my end, I will also check if there's potentially an issue with the file space on our end. But I understand completely why it didn't go. For the purpose of the assignment, you can it's registered that you've done it. You can maybe if you could email it to me, that would be great. But don't worry about the form. But I can see there's just a technical issue here. So I guess for the benefit of all the others, in case you run into a technical issue like this, shouldn't happen, but in case you do, you can always just reach out to me directly on questions regarding assignments. So so we'll make sure that we take this into account. Dominique, would you mind clicking on cancel then on this one?
Yes.
And then we can just close the window. Close this one, and then can you just move down to the very bottom? I think just what's important to say is on this form, in order to be able to hit the submit button. So if you go to the very bottom, Dominique, there's a button at the very bottom which is submit. So that submit button, it only works if you've replied to all the questions, including if you have uploaded, all questions are mandatory. So if they are not filled, you cannot send the form. So that's essentially what's happening. But obviously, if you have technical issues uploading things, then you cannot submit it. So then just get in touch with me. But generally, I made sure for the second assignments and anything that comes, that like we don't have like file size limits, so it shouldn't be an issue. Cool. So thanks, Dominic. I think let's leave it at that. You can just send me this by email, and and we'll work based on that. For now.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. So thank you so much for sharing your screen. You may unshare if you want to. And,
yes, let me see.
And then since we're talking about assignments, I do want to. There's one important announcement. Yeah, Rachel.
Hand is up. Sorry, I just saw someone's hand was up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think it was Dominic's.
But, so
I was just indicating that I'm here.
Yeah, I think it was at the beginning when Fabian didn't know she was here. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And Ellen made a good comment about the possibility of buying Google gift cards to enlarge the Google Drive. Maybe that's a possibility. I think like if you delete stuff and you make space available, that's you can then do it for free, and you should have like 2 gigabytes, I think. So yeah, I really think it's more of again, like I'll check on our side if it's a space issue on our side. But anyways, we don't have to be fixing like technical issues for the assignments. Let's just, if it doesn't work, just send it to me, and then it's fine. Cool. So one more announcement I want to make about assignments. So I mentioned there will be a third assignment, and we've discussed between Chris, myself, and Rachel before. And so what would really be helpful for us in terms of doing the seller selection is that we just build on what we've started. So it means we would like to see actually more of your catalog. And right now you've submitted 5 products, so we'd like to take this to 10. So the third assignment will basically be to add another 5 products to the Excel sheet and share with us the pictures. And this will help us by the end of the month to then better assess the potential. So in short, you will receive another assignment, but it should be relatively easy this time for you because it's just an expansion of what you've been doing already. And then we'll just throw a couple of questions in there that will help us sort of manage the next stages. So we'll ask things like, whether you're ready to go right now, or if you want a little more time and start later. And then we'll also ask about payment gateways. So we'll ask if you're already integrated with a payment gateway or not. Those are all things that are relevant. So in any case, you will get a third assignment very shortly, and the timelines will be, because we need to do the selection by end of the month. It will be around the end of next week. I would say probably Sunday the 30th, so that on the 31st we can do the selection. But we'll let you know in writing. Yeah. But essentially everything should be consistent with what we said before. So we're doing these 3 assignments, and we do the selection by end of July. So nothing has changed. Yeah. Okay. Any questions or comments on assignments? No. Okay, cool. Then I think so we've got kind of 20 minutes to do a bit of practical work. So I want to ask Jens, are you still with us?
Yeah. Oh, my camera is
okay.
not. I'm here. Hi.
Oh, hey Jens.
Finally,
hey, Jens. Cool. Would you mind sharing your screen with us?
With the browser, right?
Yeah, you can just click like on the green share screen window. Yeah, perfect. So 2 things we want to do. We don't have much time, so I think we can just add the store policies and then maybe do the configuration for shipping. That should be enough. Yes. Oh, do you want to show us briefly your Shopify store?
I want to ask a question if I can. I know we don't have so much time. No 2 days ago, I added the logo here to the favicon, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but I thought it was so I can see it here in this part, but I don't see it. Does it take some days, or do you know?
I think so. These are things we should discuss individually, but my thinking is I don't think your store is live. Well, it's not live yet unless you've put
My
it live.
store is live.
and-
This is our homepage.
Oh, so it is live. Okay, got it. Then I don't know. I don't have the answer right now.
No problem. Okay.
Unfortunately,
What do you want to see?
But you're right. Like favicon I mean, you're right. It should be showing. So let us kind of get back to you and make sure we can assist you with it.
Or
Yeah.
have you your cache? Like sometimes you have to clear your browser cache, because like you won't see update. It'll keep sending you to the old link. So you can try that in the meantime. It could be your browser cache.
Okay, I will do that later.
Nice. Okay, so question, Jens, is so regarding store policies, have you done anything yet, or like it's currently empty?
No.
Okay, so I'll ask you.
I don't have anything. I deleted it a few days ago because I didn't have any content.
I see.
And I don't remember how to add it.
Okay, perfect. So could you kind of go out of this view to like the main view? I think you just click on exit. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And you selected the dawn theme. Okay, I like that. That's cool. Yeah. So what you can do is we'll go to. Actually, let me just see on mine. So we want to go to. Okay, it's right. Why did I now? Sorry, 1 second. Yes, we want to go into store settings. That's okay. Okay, give me half a minute to just find the link again, because I was just doing it on mine before. And there's basically on the left hand side in the bar. We have a menu item for the store policies, and it should be under. Is it under preferences? It's not under preferences actually. So it's actually not that easy to find, is it? It's not under marketing. It's probably under content. Rachel, if you remember where it is, this is a little bit. I apologize for that. Where was it? Okay.
The connection is really bad.
Okay.
I will stop my video.
Okay, Jens, what you need to do. Yes, what you need to do, Jens, is go to the bottom left and click on settings, please.
I don't see. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here on the settings. Okay. And then when you go to the bottom, you see like policies.
Policies.
So go down to policies. Yeah. So we'll just look at this. And here, so some of you might have standard store policies. If not, like I have a template you can use. I shared it with Jens earlier. So what we like, the key things we need to talk about, right, is we definitely need to talk about international shipping. So the things I want to highlight there is, as discussed with DHL, like let's agree in this group that whenever possible, let's try to offer 2 options for delivery. One being like economy shipping, and that ideally we have a free shipping threshold. And then another one would be expedited shipping. Jens, could you pull up the shipping policy part that I shared with you and paste it into the shipping section?
Yeah, 1 second. I just copy what you sent me.
Yeah, you can just copy paste.
This,
Yeah, and I think I'll take just a minute to bring everybody up to date on what like we have in this what we're saying. So we're saying that we have two options, an economy one, and we have a free shipping threshold for orders above $100. It's obvious that you cannot be offering free shipping, especially for smaller items like chocolate bars and so on. But typically, having a free shipping threshold is a good idea. And these are things, again, we can discuss, in the individual one by one, like where do we set the threshold so it checks out financially. But free shipping is a good claim to be able to make. And we're also talking about delivery time. And that you'd have to check. Jens, do you know in your case, like if you were to do like a B2C order into the United States, and you would use like an economy shipping option, how long would it take?
No, I think it takes like maybe up to a week, probably, like 5 to 7 days. But I'm not sure.
Okay, and that would be for like the economy, service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
I sent like samples to some countries, and it was like to UK, to Europe, and it was like a week already.
Got it. And what was the shipping provider?
Usually UPS or DHL.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I guess like UPS and DHL, they are, so typically the world that I've been working in, they would be kind of the premium providers, and then there would be like a sub-premium provider, like for example, like the postal service. The postal service sometimes, like in most of the countries I worked in, like they would have a postal service that had like parcels, and they would take 2, 3, 4 weeks, but they are super cheap. I know this
I would not do that.
in a couple of. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
I
go
think
ahead. You wouldn't do that.
I think they would never arrive if I would use the Dominican Postal Service.
Okay, I get it. I fully get it. Yes, so I get it. If that's not an option in your country, then the only option you would have would be like the expedited shipping, and you can set a threshold there as well.
Yeah, but I think, right now we ship from Dominican Republic, but for example, for the second assignment and also for the homepage, I hope we can have a warehouse in the future in the United States and ship from there and not from
Correct. And in this case, so we would adapt the policies. Yeah. Right now, to be kind of to set the stage, what I'm right now thinking of is of distance selling. I know I'm obviously I've been promoting all along the warehouse, but I'm assuming right now we're not yet in the warehouse, so I'm assuming we have to distance sell for the purpose of this. But yes, so if there is no free economy option or no economy shipping option available, then like the second best thing to do is to have a premium, to have the expedited international service, and you can call it like, even if it's a week, like in my experience, and Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have, when we're using these services like DHL and FedEx or UPS, like we can make a claim that it's expedited shipping. Rachel, would you agree?
Yeah, you can, because it's much faster. Like we've shipped things where in 3 days it went from Trinidad to Miami. It was at the person's store. So
sure. Yeah.
So it would be here.
So here you could say from Dominican Republic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And then I would delete this,
you
right?
can just remove. Yeah, you can just remove this one. And I think for expedited international shipping, you could. That again, a free shipping threshold can make sense. It would probably have to be a bit higher. So it would probably have to be around the $150 price range. Maybe for the exercise, you could add it, right? Yeah.
Well, I have to calculate that.
Sure. Cool. So, but it's important that we tell them what the service is. So if you already know you're going to use UPS or DHL, you can say it, right? You can say expedited international shipping via DHL or UPS, right? And then delivery time. That's what people care about. And then I've added a bit of text here. You can check it. Yeah, processing time. Usually, you know, like again, Rachel, you can let me know, but like in my experience, it's people are okay if your processing time is 1 or 2 business days. The best companies or the warehouse, they will do it the same day. But I think it's reasonable, right? If we have 1 or 2 days processing time.
I think
Rachel,
usually,
what?
yeah, 48
Yeah?
hours. 48
Okay.
hours is like
Sure.
standard. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it would be
Okay,
here
cool.
like 5 to 7 days shipping plus 2 days of processing, or is it included in the shipping time?
So you can, it's best to separate it because for instance, if DHL tells you, if they tell you 5 to 7 business days, you don't want that when it takes 7 days, the customer is thinking, you know, you must always separate the 2 processing times, because technically shipping counts from the moment the item is processed, right? It's from when the courier picks it up, it's now handed over in terms of the customer now manages their order through the courier's platform, not so much yours, right? So it is important to separate it, because if there's a delay in processing time, you know, and you can fix the communication to support this. You can say, you know, our bars are handcrafted, so it does take time to prepare, you know, we prepare fresh each batch sort of thing, so that people are understanding with time when they hear things like that. So if those things are in your processing time is gonna impact you or take a little longer sometimes, then you want to make sure, so putting the 48 hours is a good measure for you to stick to, but always do it in less time if you can, so that even, let's say they get the order on the 3rd business day, so you pack it up the same day, the courier picks it up, and it gets there in 3 days. The customer is always sort of wowed. So you want to make sure you don't set the time too tight for yourself. So you want to make sure, but that they're still impressed or they feel like it got there faster. So
yes, definitely.
So I do think separating it out is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, what I would add as well from my experience, so I completely agree, Rachel, like we should try to over deliver against expectations, and then but our shipping time should be kind of in line with the industry. So, and I think it is, right? If you're using expedited shipping, it's okay. What's really, what I feel is important is to look at it from a customer's perspective. Like the customer, they just like, okay, when they see whatever you tell them, like that's what they think will be the shipping time. So in doubt, like you just extend your shipping time by the processing time, right? Because if the customer sees 7 days and it gets there in 9 days because you needed 2 days to prepare, like they're still not going to be happy. So yeah, just want to re-emphasize what Rachel said about making sure we over deliver, not under deliver. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. Then I think, so I'm checking the time, and I do want to be kind of end on time today. I think let's briefly finish this part about shipping and then check briefly on the returns part. And anything else, right? Configuring shipping. What I'll do is I'll pack this into an assignment. So I'll basically do an instructional video, because all these things that we are now writing into the policy, we can configure it within Shopify. So we can configure Shopify so that when the customer lands on the product page, they can then see what the options are. So they can see, okay, I have the option to have expedited shipping, and this is the shipping time. And I'll pack this into an assignment. But so if we move on with this assignment, there's a quick section maybe on customs and import taxes, if we want to look at it. So what I've usually been using is like US customers, US buyers, don't worry about import taxes and duties, because you usually don't get orders above $800, and and that's the de minimis in the US. So you can safely do that. And then for international buyers, like we have a bit of text to say that import taxes may apply, and that customers can get in touch with you, for details. Generally, what we've been doing is in many of my projects, I've just been focusing on the US market, and then if we do the European market, then I would say, if we then work with a warehouse, we don't have to worry about all that. But the point is, like, customers really don't want to deal with the customs headache, and the reality is, like, in Europe, like, they do get a bill from the customs from customs because the thresholds are really low. So yes, the US is always a good market to start with, and Europe is always kind of my second priority. That's what I would say. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, for me, yes.
But we can obviously, again, we can configure within Shopify, we can configure which countries that we allow shipping to, and generally, always your domestic country will always be automatically selected, and then you can select a couple of international markets, and you can say, okay, I ship to US, I ship to the main markets in Europe, and things like this. But again, so I'll cover that in the assignment, and then maybe let's take 1 or 2 minutes to check the returns policy. Jens, have you had a quick look at the returns policy before?
No, I just copied it from your mail.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. So I think the key point is I will share with all of you the standard template. Maybe I'll have maybe Rachel, you could have a look over it to make sure it's adapted to the Caribbean context properly. But okay. Generally, yeah.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. But generally, I think what we can say is, it is accepted in the industry that the buyers pay for the return. Unless there's something wrong with the item. Like if something's wrong, I don't know, like it's expired, the date expired, like or it broke, or you sent the wrong product, whatnot, then like you should own up to it, and you should you're probably not going to have it returned. You're just going to leave it with the buyer and say, hey, keep it for free. But in terms of returns, it's widely accepted that the buyers paid for the return if they just sort of change their mind or something like that. And in food, you can definitely ask them, you can tell them that you only accept the returns under strict conditions, which I have listed here. So basically, it has to be in unused condition, unopened, etc., etc. You can do all of that, and you can also, before you accept the return, you can also ask to see the picture, and so all the process is kind of a best practice that's explained in there, and you can read through it. The good news is, as DHL guys already said, like in international e-commerce, like the return rate is much lower, and in food it's even lower. So I don't think you'll have to worry too much about returns. And if there is an issue, you can most of the time you can just figure something out with the buyer, right? I think the most important thing is it's important to have these policies written out so that you are kind of safe, but you always have you can then always negotiate with the buyer, and the most important is to be in contact with the buyers and to find a compromise. The compromise could be, hey, keep the item for 50% off, or something along those lines. Cool. So we're just on the hour. There's 2 questions from Ellen, and I think maybe I could take those questions and then we can end it here. Is that okay?
Yes. Stop sharing, right?
Yes, I guess, yeah, in the policies, there are a couple of other things like privacy policies and things like this, but the most important ones are really like shipping and returns. And then, maybe you could add in payments policy, like what payment methods you accept through the payment gateway. But those are the key ones.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Jens, for this.
Yeah,
And and congrats on the store. It starts to look it looks really nice already.
Okay.
Rachel, let's take those two questions maybe quickly, or comments. So which payment platforms are there for the Caribbean region? So the payment gateways, I know Jens, you also mentioned this. Payment gateways, that we discuss in the individual part. If you already have a payment gateway, most of the time, like Shopify will be able to integrate it. If not, then we need to find one, and there are fees associated and so on. So we need to discuss it case by case. And then below 2 kilo of cocoa products is 0% tariff. Okay, that's really good to know as well.
Fabian, sorry, Rachel, go on.
Yeah, I just saying Chris put a link in the chat, but I guess you can explain it better.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that this is a tool that ITC developed to find payment solutions available in each country. So you can explore that there. It doesn't tell you which ones are integrated in Shopify, but it gives you an overview of the available ones in your country. Yeah, I think Fabian is familiar.
I recognize that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it from me. Since this is the last session, I mean, maybe first let me give the word to Rachel and Chris, and then maybe I can say an intermediate goodbye, because I will be off during August for a couple of weeks for paternity leave, and then I come back like full steam to help the selected ones on like logistics stuff. But yeah, maybe Rachel and Chris, do you have any things we didn't mention yet or anything to add?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, the same. Thanks everyone for being active here. For us, it's super important, especially in online trainings where engagement is a bit more difficult. But I hope you learned something, and you, of course, have the energy to participate in the next phase. Yeah, that's all. Fabian?
So yeah, same thing here. I would say, it's been great. Like we've seen today that you guys are really listening and engaged. It's sometimes difficult with the with the online trainings, but thanks for your engagement. It's been really great. I think our goal, as Chris said, we have the opportunity to take 15 companies on and to really help you guys with individual support and financial support. And I think we do have right about that number of assignments that have been handed in. But those who haven't done assignment 2, please do it. It's mandatory if you want to be selected. And then also I'll share the third assignment. Please do that as well. We look forward to doing this selection process. We will inform you, and I really look forward to working with you guys again when I'm back in sort of end of August, early September. So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, and expect from us an email again with the instructions.
Sorry.
Yeah, Jens.
Yeah.
Sorry. First of all, thank you. It was really great, all these sessions. And is it possible to send the assignment today? Because I'm on vacation from tomorrow. I would like to finish it today.
Okay, I promise, Jens. I'll send it out this evening. It should be easy to set it up. But yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna add in the chat the emails of Rachel, Fabian, and myself in case you have questions. Or maybe not Fabian because he's going to be. What do you think, Fabian?
It's fine. Yeah, no worries.
Fine. Yeah. Okay. They were sent also in the emails. We already sent in a link. But anyways, just in case you didn't see that. Let me just copy and paste them in the chat. 1 second. Okay, there you go. So if you have any question, please write us, and we are there to support. Okay. Thank you so much, and have a good day.
Very nice. See you guys soon. Have a good rest of the day.